Good evening. Yes, it's been raining out in Boca and gloomy, and I said, I want to put on something festive. Well, this chapter got to some of you. Didn't get as much attention as some of the other ones, but I know one thing. A couple of you had an issue. I want to tell you all about it. Let me put on my little hallelujah light. Did I do it? Yes, I think so. So anyway, some of you have been with me since April 3rd or so when I started on this journey, commanded by the Lord to read my book. You've been with me every step of the way. You've been through the fidgeting when I was always fidgeting around and said, well, I have a tear in my meniscus and my left knee and I had physical therapy and yeah, I can't find a spot for myself. You've been through my birthday, May 4th. You've been through eye surgery with me. Some of you know me better through my readings for the past, 6 weeks than some of my best friends, but that's not really true. We will be completing this book sometime next week. And for those of you who did stay with me through the rough times and through the good times and all the 23 chapters so far, you're going to have completed something when we're done. You're going to have completed the journey with this woman, a woman's journey through love and loss. Some of the readings got to you more than others. Some really didn't like it at all because I was crying and they were crying, and okay, it's life. You cry a lot if you want. If you don't want to cry, don't. But for those of you who've gone on and off, that's wonderful. You got out of it what the description said. I was very good with the descriptions, very specific with the descriptions that I posted. Each chapter had a description, and everybody wanted to know. It could be the honeymoon, the fear factor, is there a God, why me, facing my fears and frustrations as a widow, comforting each other, taking care of myself, and then we're on letting go. And I know that this one was hard for some of you because letting go is awful. But you're not going to be letting go once you've been hooked to this. You're going to want more, and it's not going to be there because we're going to go on to another book after a break next week. Letting go to someone meant putting their dog to sleep. Yeah, putting their dog to sleep. Now I'll take the shades off. I'm okay. Someone had to let go because they put their dog to sleep, and it was extremely hard. Anybody that has a dog knows that. And some other one had to let go because they had a twin who passed away. Someone else let go of their husband, and they had to let go of a mother, and they had to let go of a bungee jump. They had to make sure that they were bungee jumping. I mean, letting go can mean anything to anybody, but letting go to me meant I had to get in my brain that I was going to be letting go of my love of my life, and there was nothing anymore I could do about it. But I wrote, and I did it. So I got something out of it. All right? And most of you never have to buy the book, which is unfortunate for me because The Little Widow makes just a few pennies anyway. I've given most of them away. But you don't have to, because if you go back, you'll know the whole story just by going back. It was really very simple. So I just want to say, and here, letting go, my mom I was so close with. This watch is probably 70 years old. It's a Timex. Timex. My mommy was beautiful. Gorgeous clothes, always dressed impeccably, and she was beautiful. I'd like to think I got some of my good looks from her. But her watch is the only thing I really wanted when she passed. Because she wore it every day. No matter what she was wearing, I could see her looking down at her little watch. Can you imagine a Timex at 70 years old? Oh no, I won't let go of this. They can bury me with this. I hope they like cremating. I hope this thing will get cremated. But I just want to say that I understand some chapters were rough for some of you. This book is rough for some of you. My life has been rough for me. It hasn't been rough for you. Maybe your life's been rough for you, but my life has been pretty rough at times. However, I'm here. I can smile. I can laugh at myself. So cut yourself some slack. The earth's going to be here way after you're gone, and the earth's come through a whole hell of a lot more than you have. Somebody did a great bit on that. It was marvelous about climate change. I loved it. And they said, the earth, George Carlin did a whole thing on it, the late George Carlin. God, I loved him in the 60s, 70s, the humor, he was so good. And he said, the climate's going to be here. It's been through tornadoes and earthquakes and tsunamis and ice freezes and floods. It went through a whole tirade of what the earth has been through. It's going to be here way after you're here. So no matter how good you think you are, no matter how special you think you are, no matter what's in front of your name, no matter how you think you are, you know what? The earth is going to be here right after you're gone. And the only thing you can do is maybe contribute to it. And that's why books are wonderful. Because you can leave a book. You can leave something of you in this earth. That's incredible. You can leave you. I'm leaving my husband and myself in a book that you can have decades from now. Someone might have it. I'm leaving my late husband and myself in a book. And I'm leaving also anybody who's passed from HIV. I'm leaving their memories in this book. Oh, please don't. Gosh, here we go again. Anyway, chapter 23. I'm going to start reading again. If there's some noise upstairs, I didn't remind him today I'm reading. What can I tell you? So, now. Oh, there we are. Whew. Anyway, this one is rough for a lot, as I said, letting go. You've all let go of something at some point, and it isn't easy. But when you let go, you never know. Something else can come along that grabs you. I know where I stopped yesterday. It is Wednesday, May 25th. And here, this one is starting off, this will get you good. We're going to do one paragraph before we start this whole thing again. Don't give up. If you've come this far, please don't give up. Complete the journey with me. Complete this journey. I said, how many times I wish I could die along with you. I'm sure a few wives and husbands have said that out of grief. Grief is real, and it takes as much time as you need. I am begging for a sign telling me that one day I will be all right again. I need something to give me the strength and courage to continue on. Though I write the words, quote, letting go, end quote, down on paper, I do not feel this way in my heart. I can tell myself I must let you go, but I do not believe the words I say. How do I let go of a man I have loved since I was 11 years old? And how do I tell my heart to say goodbye forever? Deal with it, folks. It's real, it's rough, it's life, but you can make it as good as you want to make it. Your choice. Here I am all these years later reading from my book to people I don't know and thanking them for going along on the journey with me, whether it's 5, 10, 15, 20 people. Thank you. All right. Here we're going to start for the new reading. Plenty of time. There is a monumental difference between staying alive and being alive. You are alive, but you are not living. Can you relate to some of the people in your life? You know that they're living, but they're not alive. You are now unable to take care of yourself and have become totally dependent upon me. Yep. He was alive, but he was not alive. The disease took my husband over. You weigh 120 pounds, and I have had chronic diarrhea for 3 weeks. You are coughing so intensely. You weigh 120 pounds and have had chronic diarrhea for 3 weeks. You are coughing so intensely that it causes you to throw up. Your medications are endless, and you've gotten so weak to take some of them. I told you it was not going to get easy at the end, folks. Tune out. but wouldn't you like to find out? You know how it ends, but wouldn't you really like to go to the very end and say you read the book with me and you listened to the audible that never made it? The constant fevers have affected your brilliant mind. You have a blank look on your face and forget things easily. There's other illnesses out there like this that you all can relate to if you want to, or you know someone. You cannot focus. You feel dizzy and have fainted because you will not eat. You can barely stay awake, don't have the energy to shower, and can hardly brush your own beautiful white teeth. You can't remember nor understand most of the things going on around you. However, you maintained your control over the most important and powerful issue of them all. However, you maintained your control over the most important and powerful issue of them all. How you wanted to live out the rest of your life. It's all a choice, folks. On July 8th, you called your doctor and said, quote, "I am the patient, and I am not going back into the hospital again. I'm in charge of what I will or will not do from now on. The final weeks of my life will be on my own terms. I will allow people to help us with my care, and we will set up our house so I can die at home. That is the way it will be," end quote. And we did. I remember it all so clearly. He wanted to live and die in his home. He wanted to die at home, and that is the way it will be. That's why hospice was so important to me and why I gave to them for 6 years and was an 11th hour volunteer. It's just because this whole paragraph is so meaningful. On July 8th, and how could I remember all that? If I didn't write it down, if you don't write yourself down, if you don't write your issues down, if you don't write your life down, you will never remember this. Oh God, the writing is so wonderful. So on July 8th, he called his doctor and he said, "I'm not going to keep living like this. I don't want to." He said, "I want to take control of my life and live it the way I've always lived. I want to live it at home, surrounded with beautiful things and memories, and I'm not going back in the hospital, and that's just how it is." I knew then you did not want to live any longer, but I couldn't accept it. I didn't have the courage to bring it up. You didn't have the energy to eat, and you wanted to sleep all the time. I had to brush your teeth, wash your hair, clean your nails, and shave and bathe you in bed. It was a tragedy for you to watch your beautiful body deteriorate. It was a cruel disease. It was cruel. The day came when you gave me a look that told me everything I needed to know. We were sitting at the table. We lived in this condo in a high-rise. We were sitting at the table right there. He gave me a look. I'll never forget it. He didn't have to say anything. He gave me a look. The day came and you gave me a look that told me everything I needed to know. With unspoken words and a glance I shall never forget. I knew you were ready to accept your death. You had given yourself permission to die. No words could express the intensity of that moment we shared. We knew without saying anything what we had to do and what was going to happen. Oh yeah. For 25 years we enjoyed a life that was private and a relationship that was personal and intimate. Pardon me, a little bug flew on my thing. For 25 years we enjoyed a life that was private and a relationship that was personal and intimate. We made our homes warm and inviting, and there was always a fragrance of delicious foods lingering in the air. The sounds of good conversation, music, and laughter filled the rooms when we entertained family and friends. With great sadness, we had to let go of the life we once loved in order for you to have some quality of life now. We had to allow the outside world into ours. We had become prisoners, trapped. We had to allow the outside world into ours. We had become prisoners trapped inside our own home, and our captor was the disease. The captor was the disease that had destroyed our lives. Every day we became more dependent on the nurses, the medical deliveries, and the lab technicians. We signed dozens of consent forms, requests, and legal documents. And with every signature, we relinquished a little more of our control. We were, quote, letting go, end quote, of our cherished privacy, freedom, and independence. All right, I may be talking to one person, but that one person is going to remember this. You're going to remember it because this lady told you to, and because the information she's giving you can happen at any time to anyone. And you'll make decisions that you'll hate to make, but you'll make them. Write everything down. I'm telling you now, you do not know in 5 years or 10 years or 20 years who's going to walk through your door, how it's going to happen, but write. Our home became a hospital setting, and I was good at this because there was no children. I had my family, they were still healthy. I didn't have anything but me to take care of and my husband. So I was blessed, and the house was perfectly set up the kind of for it. Most people want to pass it home, 90% don't. It's very hard. But I was always in the health field, and I understood things, and I was very capable of making these decisions. Hi, Stephen Hart. Hi, Stephen. Our home became a hospital setting with supplies and drugs everywhere. That's because the hearts are going up all over. Our home became a hospital setting with supplies and drugs everywhere. There were people in and out, but they were not our friends, bringing laughter and good cheer. They were strangers taking care of you and assisting me. We never had to trust many people before because we always had each other. But now letting go meant trusting everyone, and that was something very difficult for us to do. You had to let go of your pride as others assisted you and pitied you at the same time. Letting go now meant waiting for death, even though you were still alive. How's that one grab you? Letting go now meant waiting for death, even though you were still alive. Letting go meant suffering and heartache for your parents. Letting go meant giving up your business, your love for travel and adventure, your passion for food, and everything fun you enjoyed. Letting go can be anything. But at some point, when you have a long-term illness, for 2 years, I don't consider that long-term, but it was. But you can go and watch this happen with people who have these long-term issues. You have to give up control of everything. I will get into that with a hospice book about this one lady who would not. She said to me, and I'll read these stories are going to grab you so. If you think this was even good, these are great, these stories coming up. This lady, when I saw her, a little frail thing, long nail, and she was smoking. The oxygen's next to her. And I said, you shouldn't be smoking with the oxygen. She says, I've given up everything else in my life that I enjoy. I'm not giving up my cigarettes. I went there every day after I worked out at the gym. I went there every day from 12 to 12:30. They said I could take her outside of her room, and I could light her cigarette for her. We took her oxygen out. She could light her cigarette. For 1 month, this woman stayed alive, and for 1 month, I went over there every day, and she took her cigarette in, and she was not going to give up control of that. Jeffrey had to go through everything that we never had to deal with before, but he had one choice he could make, how he wanted to live the last days of his life. You're going to remember this. You may not like it, but you're going to remember this. And for those of you who gave up too soon, I understand. I understand. Oh, we're good. I got one more paragraph. I really wanted to complete this, but I'm not going to be able to complete this book tonight. But then we're going to do chapter 24, saying goodbye. That should grab y'all, shouldn't it? Saying goodbye. If you think this one was rough, wait till you get to the next one. Kleenex. Letting go was also difficult because it meant saying our final goodbyes. Letting go meant, there's got to be some letting go in here that you're dealing with, even right now, letting go of something. I'm never going to let go of all my memories, but I have let a lot of them go, and this book is so great because my memories are right here. But I'd let a lot of them go because I couldn't do this after all these years. I have to move on. You will have to move on. If not, go on some psycho meds, stay in your room, feel sorry for yourself, and die yourself that way. I mean, it just doesn't work. At some point, you got to stop it and you got to go forward. I'm good, Mama. Letting go was also difficult because it meant saying our final goodbyes. Letting go meant being alone, and I didn't want to live without you. Nope, I didn't. I was the bad one, not him. Letting go meant you would not be there to eat dinner with me. Boy, those first few meals were rough. Letting go meant I wouldn't be watching movies or walking on the beach with you any longer. Letting go meant you would not be there to hold me when I desperately needed to be held. Though I had buried you 100 times in my mind, I could not stop my heart from loving and wanting you. How could I say goodbye to my best friend? Letting go meant missing you. Oh, how I will miss you. You were letting go of your life while I was letting go of everything I had and ever loved. And finally, I had to let go of the anger. Ooh, I remember this. This is hard. This one's going to be a rough one right there. I told you I wasted a lot of time being angry. I didn't expect to be this one right now. You were letting go of your life while I was letting go of everything I had ever loved. And finally, I had to let go of the anger I was feeling towards you and this disease. I had to stop hating you for getting ill. I had to stop hating myself for staying with you. I had to let go of the hate I had for my life because living it was more painful than I had been willing to admit. I had to let go of the anger and hate or I would not have been able to stay with you through this. I looked in the mirror and said, quote, Susan, give yourself permission to let go. You have some choices left. Everything hasn't been taken from you. Allow yourself to give it up, end quote. Letting go now had become allowing myself. Letting go now had become allowing myself to let go. I knew now I could handle the last few weeks of my life with you. Well, are you letting go of something? Anybody who's watching? 5 people, 10 people, 20 people, 1,000,000 people? I should be so lucky. Yeah. As you get older, you're 5 years old, 6 years old, 10 years old. Let go. You gotta let go of your jump rope. You gotta let go of your phone, your computer. You gotta let go of stuff. When you get older, letting go takes on a whole nother level of stuff. For many, is truly letting go of the life you knew, loved, wanted, and you move on quicker than others. I moved on, but I haven't moved on in some ways. I'm giving you reality. Parts of me have moved on, and parts of me haven't. Oh, I got it. I don't know why that light does that all the time. So I'm giving you exactly what I'm supposed to. I'll be finishing up chapter 23, letting go, and going into chapter 24, saying goodbye. If you can, hang in there with me. I said before, you will have completed the journey, a woman's journey through love and loss. If you didn't do it, that's fine. Get out of it what you want. I have no regrets. Maybe that he didn't live longer, because I certainly would have still been with him. I never had the guts to leave him. He never had the guts to leave me. Sick, was it a crazy sick relationship? Yeah, in some ways, but I got out of it what I wanted. I got out of it, I got him. He was what I wanted. He was the it that made me. Really, he was that other part of me that gave me what I needed to be whole. And I don't know if I'll ever be whole again, but at 76 and looking at the other end of my life, I am so glad I wrote this book. I am so glad I documented everything. I'm so glad I can encourage you to write. Please, please, even if it's just one sentence about today. There's this crazy lady in Boca who's wearing sunglasses at 5:30 in her house and talking on her phone. Yeah. So I got dressed up. I look good. So I'm going to say go to SusanMintz.com. All my information's on there. Anybody who can't find me is blind and deaf and probably not even here, because I'm so easy to find. All my contact information is there. I get just a lot of messages because it's private. But go to my website. And for the one person that went on my YouTube channel, thank you. Might have been me. But all my readings from starting in the beginning of April are able for you to tape. I won't infringe upon your copyright infringement. Copyright infringement. You can take all my readings and put them into a tape, and you could do your own Audible. And my Audible certainly didn't work out with him. But if you want to, you can make an Audible out of my life. One day, maybe. But we will have a movie one day. We'll have a series made one day. There's people out there looking and saying, why hasn't this story been told before on TV? Why isn't this story being made into a Netflix or a Hulu series? Why isn't this thing, after 30 years of pushing it, hasn't it done yet? Well, that time. I'm doing it. I'm talking to the world. I got a dozen countries and probably half the states. So I'm fine. I'm talking. I'm telling my story to the world, as I say. I'm telling my story to the world, one person at a time. That's it. I shall say now, oh, I love my mommy's watch. Imagine it's 70, maybe older. Timex. I don't even make Timex anymore. But anyway, I want to say thank you all. I will watch me tonight before I go to bed and wonder why I made such a fool of myself, but what's a girl got to do? I love you all with the heart that's in here, because you're worthy of love. Don't think you're not. You're worthy of love. I'm just sorry I wasted so much of my life angry and miserable and hateful and took it out on people when I shouldn't have. I will say shalom. Hello. Shalom goodbye and shalom peace. Oh my heavens. What's going on around us is anything but peace. Please pray for peace if you pray. And if you don't pray, start. And be kind. You can do that. That's a choice. You can be more patient. I got that one. Jesus, God, please. And then call somebody. Tell them you care. Tell them just, hello, I was thinking of you. Hello. That's it. Don't get deep. Just call someone and say hello. It's good. God bless you all. And I'm going to finish. And hopefully somebody watched, and I know they did, because I see their little face and their name. Thank you all so much. And if I didn't respond, if you were the first time I've seen you and I didn't respond with a personal thank you and message you, please forgive me. There are new people coming on, and there's people dropping off like flies. We'll finish up tomorrow night and go into saying goodbye, chapter 24. I'll see you at 5:30 tomorrow night. Shalom.